Hello, it's Ian again. It's the 9th of December on the early morning, mid-morning, as I make this latest video in the series. It's going to be just me this week with some news and catching up. And of course, the biggest news, I suppose, of the whole week has been the anniversary. 34 years ago, the Bhopal disaster actually happened. So we had all the usual events. I'm not going to say anything about that. Everybody who's watching this will doubtless have other feeds from other places, and the BMA Facebook page and website will be covering it and have done in many, many different ways. So go and have a look at those. I'm not going to repeat everything that's been shown in those. Let's keep this a little bit more social. But one nice thing that happened, Jane, who's one of the trustees, I think probably the newest trustee, she's been a trustee for just a year, came over to visit us. And I think it's really important that every trustee comes to Bhopal at least once in their tenure of trusteeship to see the town itself, the city itself, to see the clinics, Sambhavna and Chingari, both Chingaris now, of course, and Araya Basti if they can. So, and the factory site, so that they know a little bit more about what's happening here on the ground, because it's very easy to not to have the same appreciation of what the requirements and the needs are unless you have actually visited the place. So it's great to see Jane, and we had a little chat, and even we had an evening meal together near her hotel at a place called the Manohar Dairy and Restaurant, which is one of the pleasant, cheaper restaurants within Bhopal. Not that any of them are really expensive anyway. But so it's really nice to see Jane here and to have the chance to have a chat with one of the trustees, which is the first trustee I've actually ever spoken to. So it was interesting. You'll see that I'm actually wearing a shirt this morning, rather fetchingly, and that's because it is now a little bit more wintry here. I say a little bit more, of course there's never going to be any snow, and it's not really that cold, but it is getting a little bit chilly in the evenings and the early mornings. Getting to the stage now where I could probably, I don't know what the time is, maybe 10 o'clock, 10:30, take it off, because it is nice and warm and sunny outside as I look out from my room into on our terrace. So what happened this week? Well, the latest news is primarily what? Oh, two things, I think. First of all, my patient, I'll call them patients, even though I don't really like that word. My patient numbers have been increasing, such that on 3 days I did 12 patients and 10 patients. Now, I know they're only 30 minutes each, but that is a lot of treatments for one day, particularly for me. And so I've decided to split them up, and I'm going to try a system of having half of them come on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and the other half come on Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday. That's right. And so we'll just have to see if the routine works. It's the first week this week, and I haven't told everybody yet. So there's going to be a little bit of confusion, but we'll just see how it goes, and I'll let you know in a later update sometime. The other majorly exciting thing was a day trip. As you know, some of you have been following my writings and these videos. I've become a sort of de facto teacher of spoken English. So I need to be a little bit careful in these videos that I use my speech correctly, because some of my students I know do watch it. I go to a coaching class, an evening coaching class, that many people do that, particularly for English and other studies as well. And they organised, the teacher organised a day trip, a picnic out to Pachmahi. Pachmahi is a hill station, and it was used by the relatives and soldiers of the occupation, the British occupation here, as during the summer, where they could go up because it's a little higher and escape the extreme heat that happens down here in Bhopal. We are just inside the Tropic of Cancer, the the northern tropic for the around the equator. So it does get quite hot here. And that's what it was for. So we went there, and it turned out to be a very long day trip. I was invited, even requested to go, so off we went. And we started about midnight, well, just after midnight, Thursday, Friday, so 30 minutes into Friday. And I got back home here at the clinic about 30 minutes past midnight Thursday, Friday, so Saturday morning. So it was a 24-hour trip. Very bumpy bus ride. Quite a few people were ailing a little bit. And there's a big crowd, 60 or so people. A lot of the students are in their teens and their early 20s, but some younger children as well came along. And because there are some younger ones in the class as well, it's a pretty mixed class. And then there were some older people as well, and even some mothers of sons with their sons, and one of the little girls brought her mum along. So that was really rather nice, and I had a chance to speak individually with many of the people, both in the class that I usually go to on Tuesday nights and other ones as well. So listening to them speaking in their English one-to-one is actually quite different to trying to get them to speak in the front of the class. So, and their English is a lot better when they're speaking one-to-one than when they're all nervous. Well, that's understandable, of course, whenever we're doing something new. So that was nice, but we went to a lot of forest areas for views, and also a lot of shrines, which Pachmari has lots and lots of things like that, and gardens as well. It's a very rurally sort of place up in the hills, of course, in the middle of a tiger sanctuary forest area. One of the places we went to was a shrine to Hanuman, who's the monkey god, and in fact there are lots of wild monkeys all roaming all the way round. Now it's a very narrow entrance to this cave. You go in and it's a squeeze to get in, and right at the end is a very small shrine. And when I went into that, or preparing to go into that, I put my bag on the ground on top of my shoes and other people's shoes. We leave our shoes, of course, behind. When I came out again, I discovered that a lot of the guys and gals had been retrieving my pullovers and jackets, which I'd taken for the cool evenings, and because one of the monkeys had dived over and grabbed my bag and was now sitting on a rock. This was the main man monkey, and divesting all the things within my bag to see if he could find any food. There was no food in there, but nonetheless he had a good rummage around and took all the things that were in it out, like my mobile phone and spare cables and so on. And eventually we had to just sit and watch him, because you don't go and approach these wild monkeys, even though they're not very big. They have very sharp teeth, I can assure you. One of the young women was actually bitten by one at a different time. Anyway, we had to sit and watch, and the main man eventually left and left my things scattered on this rock. But it was still too soon to go, because one of the other little monkeys came and started having a look and looking at my shiny mobile phone, which he then put aside. Round about this time, somebody who was clearly in the know came along with a big stick and walked towards this rock, as the monkeys had all gone by this stage. And as he walked, he gave us some instructions. So he got to the rock and then waved his big stick around, and they ran away. And then, as he told us to do, we took up a position as if we had rocks or something in our hands, and all together about the 6 remaining guys at the entrance to the cave, the shrine, ran forward towards this rock, shouting "Ah!" in loud voices, and indeed all the monkeys did scatter at that stage. So we took that opportunity between us to get the bag and the other little things that were there, the mobile phone probably being the more important, although it's now broken and it's got to go for repair, which hopefully will involve a new face for it, new glass. So that was rather exciting. We retrieved it. Everything was okay. Nothing was other than the mobile phone, nothing was broken. So it all ended fairly happily and peacefully for me. But it was an exciting moment when I discovered my bag was missing. So anybody who ever goes to a place where there are lots of monkeys, hang on to your bag, whatever, or give somebody else your bag. What else has happened? Well, I think that's probably about it for today. So the only thing that remains is my usual request for you all to share this video and any other videos you get, including the anniversary videos or posts that the BMA has put out. You don't know where in these social media days it's going to go, and somebody might just pick it up and suddenly be inspired and moved, either to take part in something, to volunteer, even to volunteer to become a trustee or something, or even a donation, which of course we do still need via the BMA. One thing happened, just very quickly, I say, we have here at the moment Rohit, a young journalist photographer, and he sent his article about the children at Chingari, where there's still disabilities, as you know. And he got a reply back saying that they don't usually publish posts or projects that are completed. And I took this to mean that they thought that the business to do with the explosion was completed. Explosion itself, of course, 34 years ago is complete, but many people, including me some years before I came here in the first time in 2011, I thought it was done and dusted and finished. And of course it isn't. You know, there's still toxic waste going through the soil every monsoon season and increasing the pollution of the water, and there's still people suffering with medical conditions because of that one exposure. So it's not finished. So please do your best to share it and send it around as much as you can. So thanks very much for watching this. I'm going to sign off now, and next week I hope to bring you another video. Not another video, this is a video. Another video interview, possibly with the two doctors, where we went yesterday, for an evening meal with them in their home. So look out for that, or maybe even another interview. So hope you have a great week, and thanks for watching. Bye for now.